Welcome. We are going to go across to the press conference held by Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri.
And Secretary in the Ministry of Civil Aviation, Shri Pradeep Kharola. On my left, Shri Rakesh Asthana, who is the Chief of BCAS, and of course, the PIO. Now, when we announced the Vande Bharat program on 5th May, we met virtually. We met through a VC. And I think the very fact that we are meeting on the 21st in a physical setting, and this is something I'm doing, I think, for the second time the last 2 or 3 days. I attended, rather addressed a similar press conference. I think this is also a reflection of the fact that we have gained more confidence in terms of normalization of the situation and resumption. Under Vande Bharat mission, as we speak, the numbers of our citizens who were stranded and or in distress outside, those coming back is increasing. The latest figure that I have is that we have brought back more than 20,000 of our citizens from various destinations. We have at the same time utilized the outgoing aircraft to carry our citizens who are normally resident abroad and who needed to travel because they have jobs to do, they have got other professional commitments, and they were caught unawares, as it were, prior to the lockdown. Their numbers are less, not because we don't want to carry them, but because our flights to the United States, they're coming chock-a-block full, but they're also going full. But some of the countries from which we are bringing our citizens back, they are at this point of time not allowing foreign nationals to come back. And therefore, some of the people wanting to travel back, they may have permanent visas, they may have other residence permits, but since they are not on the passports of the countries, and there are 6 countries in the Gulf, Middle East, some countries in East Asia also. But the larger point I want to make is that we started somewhat cautiously. In the week between 6th and 13th May, the intention was to bring back about 12,800 or so. That was roughly the idea. We have stuck to those figures, but for the second week, which seamlessly was dovetailed into the first week, we ramped up the numbers, made it more than double. And even as we speak, I know my colleague, the CMD Air India and Secretary Civil Aviation, they are already talking in terms of ramping up the number of people to be brought back. Substantial increase in the number of flights that the Air India family, Air Indian Express will be undertaking. But equally, we have also taken up our private carriers, and I'm very happy about that. They had expressed a desire to participate in the evacuation efforts, and I think it's a tribute to them also that they've stood by us, and they are going to be joining in that effort, which will also enable us to increase the number of flights and ensure that more and more people who are in distress or are stranded outside can come back. But before I move to some other aspects of what we've been doing, I do want to underline that our effort during this Vande Bharat mission was not to bring back everyone who wants to come back. The clear emphasis is on evacuating those of our citizens who are genuinely stranded and in distress abroad. Because if we look at the overall numbers of Indians, I mean, we're a large country, we have a population 1.35 billion, the number of Indians living abroad, both on Indian passports and other, goes into several million. I think more than 25 million according to one estimate. So the idea is not to bring back everyone, only those who are under stress or, who really need to come back. Equally, those of our citizens who have regular jobs outside, which have opened up, they have professional commitments. So the idea is to concentrate on those. But there also the numbers are large, and we are increasing the number of flights and our overall carrying capacity. One of the And this Vande Bharat mission, touchwood, so far has gone very well. As I said, flights are coming back full. I want to compliment Air India and all the other stakeholders, our airports, our DGCA, everyone has worked, our missions in particular, Ministry of External Affairs. Because, you know, these are very difficult circumstances. Locating people, identifying who should travel, under what criteria, under priority. These are not easy decisions to make, but it's been doing very well. First phase has given way seamlessly to the second phase and will be increasing as we go along. Another of our activities which was carried out, I think, with great satisfaction to me and to all the other stakeholders, is that after the suspension of flights on 25th March, one of the major initiatives of the ministry, Mission Lifeline Udan, which has now covered more than 5 lakh kilometers, 500,000 kilometers, and under Lifeline Udan, we have carried a cargo load of around 900 tons to various parts of the country. Now, 1 ton is quite a bit, but 900 tons, and if you see what we've carried, essentially covering COVID-19 related reagents, enzymes, medical equipment, testing kits, PPEs, masks, gloves, medicine, and other accessories, and cargo requisition by state and the governments of the Union Territory. The Lifeline Udan flights have received excellent support from all the stakeholders, the state governments and the other stakeholders. Private scheduled operators have also operated cargo flights on a commercial basis. Similarly, on the request of various agencies, Air India has operated chartered flights to bring 1,444 tons of critical medical supplies from abroad, that is into India. Air India has also carried about 30 tons of critical medical cargo to foreign countries. Now, the point I want to stress under Lifeline Udan is it represents a very important segment of our activity post the lockdown being declared. Because the lockdown was effective, because it was taken early and in a timely manner, we can today say with a great deal of confidence that we have been able to escape the situation which other countries found themselves in. I mean, for a country of India's size, 1.35 billion people, we are testing what? 100,000 people a day? More than that. And the total number of fatalities is about 3,000 or so. Our recovery rate is doing very well. But you know, when you have a situation like this, what you really need to do is not to look at the total number of cases, but to look at the fatalities. And you have to manage those. Now, the fatalities today, the Indian figure is one of the lowest in the world. It is about 3% or so. And since I'm a member of the group of ministers dealing with this pandemic chaired by my senior colleague, Dr. Harshvardhan, I keep asking the question, Secretary Civil Aviation is also a member. I say, out of these 3% of fatalities, how many of them are cases where the patients had pre-existing medical conditions or comorbidities as it's called, and the figure is sometimes termed to be extremely high, 85% or so. So, all I'm saying is we have to keep our fingers crossed, but just as it was very important, absolutely essential to have a lockdown early and ensure that the pandemic didn't spread, it is, I think, also equally important at some stage that you have to open up. And I think it's in that spirit that all these decisions are being taken. You could argue, if you were to look at it only from a narrow sectarian point of view, that you should continue to be in a continued phase of lockdown for an extended period of time. Well, I'm one of those